Okay, so a stressful thing has happened, and you feel the urge or craving to go back to explicit matter. Let's break down what's going on in that moment, and of course, what you can do to, first of all, prevent a slip or relapse. Secondarily, what you can do to recover from one if you have given into that urge and craving. Welcome back to the Dr. Trish Leigh podcast, where I help people break free from digital addiction, especially explicit matter, so you can get back on purpose in your life and back to healthy, real world pleasure so you can rock out your best life. So, if you want to rewire your brain so you can feel and perform better fast, you're in the right place. Let's get started. And I want to remind you that this podcast is an outreach of the nonprofit organization that I've established so together we can go upstream and help kids never succumb to explicit matter addiction and help them balance their screens so that they don't get sucked into the vortex of media, especially sexual media. It's at pornbrainprevention.org. If you're inspired, contribute with me. Let's pay it upstream. Now, let's dive into relapse, prevention, and recovery. Now, you have something stressful that happens in your life. And this happened to me recently. I'm going to share it with you in a minute. But something stressful happens and you feel that emotion. You might feel sick. You start to sweat. Your mind starts to reel. It is hitting your nervous system. It is a stress spike and it's filled with cortisol. It's making you uncomfortable, and you may feel like you are being sucked to the center of the earth. Now, you feel an urge or a craving to consume explicit matter. Why? What's going on there? Well, what's happening is you're used to soothing these negative emotions with explicit matter, a supernormal stimulus that gives your brain very high levels of dopamine. That dopamine offsets those negative emotions. It brings your stress down very quickly in those stressful moments. What I was going to say that came out on top of it is it's emotional regulation that we're talking about. So when you have something stressful happen, that's the time to regulate yourself emotionally. This is part of the human experience. It's a difficult one in the moment, but when you're able to stay regulated, man, is it rewarding in real life. So you feel this stress, you feel the urge for dopamine to offset the stress. What are you going to do about it? So it's kind of like stop, drop, and roll from back in the 80s to prevent getting yourself set on fire if there's a fire in your home. And it's not the same. So don't stop, drop, and roll. What I want you to do is feel, think, then act. So it works like this. What happened to me recently? The hub's got a text on his phone that was slightly upsetting. It was a little bit more than slightly upsetting. So he reads this text and he tells me about it. I go white a little bit. My heart sinks. I feel like I'm going down a little bit. The mind starts to reel. So I want to run away from this emotion because this is a difficult thing that I'm dealing with in my life. But I know better. I know to sit in that feeling. It's not going to kill me. It's going to feel bad, and I'm going to feel a little sick, and I'm going to feel completely overwhelmed. And I'm good at this now. So you have to remember that it may take you longer. You may have to sit in this emotion a little bit longer. But I want you to remember emotions last 90 seconds. So when you feel the emotion, if you let it move through you, it only takes 90 seconds. So I sat with that. The mind started to reel. I stopped the story that I started to tell myself. I'm telling myself the story that that text means that everything's going to be awful for the rest of my life. I'm not even a doomsdayer. It's just that in that difficult moment, I couldn't see how there's a solution. I don't know how the thing is going to get fixed. Here's something I do know: all the other challenging and perceivingly bad things that have happened to me, they have gotten fixed one way or the other eventually. So, you know what I'm confident about? And I got myself back to in that moment? This thing's going to get sorted also. Inevitably, it will, especially if I stay in peace. So I felt the challenge of it. I felt the little bit of heart, loss in my life. And then I said to myself, I'm strong. I got this. I've handled these things in the past. I can handle this thing too. It's not going to last forever. My whole life isn't over. That's the story that I'm telling myself. I'm strong. I can handle this. What can I do in this moment to feel better or to affect change in the situation? This is the think part. I'm feeling the emotions and I'm not masking them or soothing them. I'm feeling them. After I feel them, I get to problem solving. I get to solution. Here's the problem. It feels very yucky. What's the solution? Moving towards solution. I move toward the solution. And in this case, I have to wait things out and I have to stay in peace. I can get back to my purpose. I can send the person love, because when I send the energy of love out into the universe, brain's attuned. Our energy is very powerful. It's coming from within me and it's affecting the people around me. I share that energy, the energy of love, not the one of fear, not the one of stress. It's imperative to stay in love and peace because you get more of what you project out from yourself. If I project out fear and loss and panic and devastation, I'm going to get more of that. So I want to project out love and peace. That's the action that I'm going to take. Feel, think, act. Now, that's one example of a text that came through. But what happens a lot in my life, I have children who are growing up, they have challenging things that are happening. What happens often is I get the phone call, "Hey, Ma. Hey, Ma, I just got pulled over." Yes, that one happens more than I would like it to. My boys and their fast cars, they've learned. They both got pulled over. They both had major consequences. Thankfully, everybody's safe. Hopefully, that one's not going to happen again. "Hey, Ma, I have this challenge at school. My daughter, her teacher gave her an F for not writing the scratch work on one of the questions, or so the story is. Anyways, I walk her through it. I stay in peace. Of course, I want to get irritated because I'm helping her to go to college. But I said, "Babe, you have choices here. I make them take loans so they're vested. We're going to lose money. Me and you will lose money if you drop that class. So you will lose time, money, and energy. But if it's important, that might be the choice you make. I have to stay regulated to help her be regulated. Feel the pain of the situation, think about it, then take a healthy emotional regulation action." Now, what if you can't do that? What if the pull of the dopamine is so strong, your brain's screaming at you to relieve those feelings? In that moment, we have to reverse the healthy emotional regulation, stop, drop, and roll. Now you have to roll, drop, and stop. So, what you're going to do is you're going to act, think, then feel. And those are the actions that I share with you. Crank some push ups. So, you want to change your mental and physical space. The easiest way, lift heavy stuff, crank some push ups. It will put all the dopamine and healthy neurotransmitters into your system. It will push out cortisol. It will bring your stress down. It will help to regulate your nervous system in the moment. You know me, I like to punch things. When I really can't handle whatever's going on around me, I'm out of here to go punch my new bag. I go down there, punching, kicking, jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Nothing feels better than getting all of that out of my system so I can make a good decision. If I feel ramped up, I know my brain is dysregulated. I know I'm not going to make a good decision. It's imperative that I go act so I can think to feel the emotions, because I need to get back to regulation. So, when you crank some push ups, it will help you to be able to think about your situation better, which will allow you to be able to feel the emotions for a little bit. And remember, I've been cultivating this skill. This is a skill. Emotional regulation, self regulation skills. I've been cultivating these skills for decades. I use neurofeedback brain training all the time, several times a week. Still, even though my brain is regulated, I use neurofeedback to keep my brain regulated, because I know things are always going to come at me. They're going to come at me from the hubs. They're going to come at me from my beautiful business. They're going to come at me from opportunities. They're going to come at me from my precious children. I got this. I can handle it. I train my brain using neurofeedback. You can too. If you're looking for help, please go over to drtrishleigh.com. You'll see that we offer consultations. Then you can have a brain map. You can literally see the dysfunction in your brain, the dysregulation. then you'll know what the plan is to be able to regulate it so you can feel focused, feel calm, overcome urges and cravings, prevent relapse. Because relapses happen because your brain is dysregulated and you're used to the high levels of dopamine from explicit matter to help you feel better in the moment. So remember that, okay? Now, what if that doesn't work? What if you're still running the story in your mind? Your last strategy is to reframe it. And then when you do, reward yourself. Move through this process, whether you do the feel, think, act, and you're nailing it, you're crushing it, or you have to switch it around to act, think, feel by using push ups, making a more contrived plan, and trying to feel the feelings, but then reframe the story, please. The negative thoughts, the ants, automatic negative thoughts that come marching in, reframe it and tell yourself a new story. Tell yourself the story that you got this. Prove to yourself other times that you've overcome adversity and you've triumphed. What we're trying to do here is get out of surviving, get into striving to move past it to thriving. I've done it. I want that for you. So here's what you're going to do, you're going to feel, think, act. Emotions last 90 seconds. Feel them. You're not going to die. You're uncomfortable. Anything after 90 seconds is a replay and your brain can't tell the difference. Then, if you have to, you're going to act, do some push ups, lift some heavy stuff. Then you're going to think, you're going to come up with your plan. Then you're going to try to feel those feelings and not run and soothe and escape them. You're going to reframe the story, and then you're going to reward yourself with a healthy, real life reward. You know that I love dark chocolate with sea salt. It's delish. Try it, reward yourself for succeeding. If you don't succeed, remember there's no win or lose, there's only win or learn. Break it down. Why'd you give in to the dopamine? What can you do next time? It's your pivot plan. Push ups, baby. All right, I hope this helps you out. If you want more help on the journey, please go over to drtrishleigh.com. I've created a new guide there. It's called Reward Reset 32 Brain Hacks to Leave the Screen and Reclaim Your Life. So you can download that and get a lot of information that'll help you. And if you're ready to commit and you really want help using advanced neuroscience and technology to rewire your brain into the optimal performance pattern, maybe for the first time ever, please reach out, schedule your consultation, call or text now. There's people who are standing by that can help you. And as always, control your brain or it'll control you. I'll see you next time.